Presentation about our project StudyStacks, presented by Benoit Thompson.
And Tristan Gagné.
So, StudyStacks is a web application that we developed in order to get students more engaged with their studies. We've all heard of flashcard web apps like Kahoot or maybe even Blogit that transform studying into gaming, but we really took it to the next level. In StudyStacks, you can make an account, as I've done here. You can see in the corner I have my email, and I have a couple different stacks of flashcards. One is Star Wars, has some quotes inside. Other one is about some programming languages. And the Star Wars one is looking a little bit bare, so let's demonstrate one of our features, the AI deck expansion.
So when you click on the expand deck feature, this calls Cohere's AI API that basically takes in all of the current flashcards and the deck's name and generates some in the same style. So if we hit expand deck, it'll take a little bit, and then it now adds 3, because we specified for 3 more cards, 3 more Star Wars trivia questions.
All right, and with those 5 questions, now I think we are ready to study. So if we click on the home icon up here, go back to study, we can choose which one we'd like to pick. And if we don't pick any, we are prompted to do so. Let's choose some Star Wars. So since there are 5 cards, the number of cards factors into so here we have some music in our battle on our quest for knowledge, again, to fight this monster, right? So we want to get enough right answers in order to beat the monster. So Yoda says do not, there's no try, attack, and you see our streak is contributing to our spell progress.
So if we end up actually getting something wrong here, so let's say Obi-Wan says the Empire Strikes Back, that is incorrect, and now our spell progress goes back down to 3. So to get our spell progress up and actually use the spell, which will heal and also do extra damage, we need to get 3 in a row correct. So I'll just do that quickly. Okay. I actually don't know this one.
Star Wars film featuring Yoda. This is the only option that is a Star Wars film, so I think that's it. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Next card.
I don't know. You know this one better than I do.
Oh yes, Emperor. But no, it's Qui-Gon Jinn.
Okay.
So now you can cast your spell.
Wow. And look at that. So
with red to denote damage, green to denote healing, you heal and deal at the same time.
So, once the monster's HP gets to 0, the game will end, and
we will claim victory, and more importantly, knowledge. So we'll come back here. If say we have our Star Wars midterm coming up, we can click that and just go over to the exam prep session, which will give the monster a much higher hit points maximum, as well as a higher attack. And for our spells, we'll actually have more healing and more damage. So our spells will be stronger, but our normal attacks will not be stronger. So here we only deal like 10 damage every time, and the monster deals like a variation between 10 and 15. We'll go back to study because we're not going to do this whole thing. And I'm going to log out now and show the sign-in feature. So when you actually open it, we have it on our local host at port 30,000, sorry. No, it is 3,000. We sign in with Auth0, and the great thing about Auth0 is that you can continue with Google if you don't want to make an account with them. And I made an account with them using my iCloud account instead of Google. And so I can continue on through here, and nothing seems to be different at first glance. When you go to Manage Decks, here I have a different deck that I made beforehand about the tech stack we use in StudyStacks. And then we can go to here just to study, start studying, and click that and use it, right? Database, this actually brings me to the database that we used. We used MongoDB. So I will go back to study. There is a special screen for when you die if that happens. So if we look over in MongoDB, this is what I'll refresh the page just to make sure it's current with what's happening right now. We'll connect to the local host and StudyStack here. We have two tables of data. We have the table of users. So currently I have Benoit as my Gmail account and my iCloud account. And in my iCloud account and my Gmail account, I have different decks. So these decks, these 4 decks in the table of decks are all associated with an account. So this deck has these flashcards. Let's go to the Star Wars deck. In the flashcards, it's an array of flashcard objects that we define to have a question, answer, number of correct answers you've ever done, and a quality called reversible. Reversible means that the question can both be answered in question-answer format or answer-question format, where the answer is what's displayed and you have to guess what the question originally was, in order to reverse it for questions where that makes sense. So this is MongoDB in use on our local hosting of MongoDB. That was like the app MongoDB Compass in order to view the database. And finally, we have, as part of our workflow, at least with the apps that we're using, in addition to the APIs that we're calling, such as Cohere and OAuth, Auth0, is Windsurf. So Windsurf was our developer environment of choice, organizing our files into many different programming languages.
So we especially found Windsurf useful for making some of the UI because it was able to make sleek and modern designs without us having to manually code all of our HTML and CSS. So using their Cascade agent, it was able to basically give us an outline for every page, and then we went in and coded the other APIs into it. For example, Cohere and MongoDB ourselves, but Windsurf helped to lay the groundwork for that. So overall, this sped up development because we spent less time worrying about like how things looked. So for example, this loggedin.html was primarily made by Windsurf. We also made a color palette, which we just put into Windsurf and asked it to make a CSS file using our color palette. So this whole palette was generated by us, but implemented with Windsurf, which honestly, over the course of the event, saved us many, many hours.
It was integral in meeting our short timeline and delivering a project that we could be truly proud of for this monumentous event.
So, in the future, StudyStacks can add, or plans to add, a Deck Explorer feature, which is currently locked, which would allow users to share their own decks.
All we would have to do for that is to go from having a locally sourced website and a locally sourced database to putting both of those in the cloud. Once that's possible, anyone can log in. The infrastructure that we have already can fully support that, as long as we just set up a cloud-based website and database. All the other code can integrate with that, and all we would do is just make like a sorting feature to look through other people's decks, a social feature to maybe suggest your friends' decks more and stacks more than others, and just overall have that interconnectedness available to everyone using StudyStacks. We thank you for your time and reviewing our application, our submission for Hack the North 2025.
Yay!
A project made by
Tristan Gagné
and Benoit Thompson. Thank you very much for considering StudyStacks, and have a great rest of your time judging.